Ryan Day became the first Ohio State head coach since Earl Bruce in 1979 to be named Big Ten Coach of the Year after going 13-1 in his first season. Coach Day joins us right now. And, Coach, I know you and your staff and your players very vocal, awfully proactive in trying to get the Big Ten to reverse their decision. So when the news finally came down, what was Wednesday's practice like?
It was unbelievable. First off, it was emotional. There was a long wait here. There was a lot of things that happened, a lot of heartache over the last 3-4 weeks. And listen, it was hard from last March to get to where we were in preseason. We felt like we were in a great place, and then we had to battle through an emotional month. And so we actually took Thursday off to kind of catch our breath, and then Friday we had one of the best practices I've been around in 10, 20 years. I mean, it was unbelievable. Guys were flying around, smiling, having fun with energy. And man, I just, I left that practice with a smile on my face. I'm so happy for these kids.
Well, Ryan, the system that we teach our players, the E+R=O, you can't control events. You cannot control the fact that they took football from you and your team and your players and your families. But the response was one of the best I've ever witnessed. They told you basically, the Big Ten office said to stand down, when that decision came down, we will not revisit this. You, and how about the players? I've never been more impressed with Justin Fields and the families to come out there. The families on their own dime flew to go to fight this thing out. If you believe in something, fight. And I mean fight. Do it respectfully. And that's what I have never been more impressed in my years in college athletics to see what you, your staff, but more importantly, those players and their families did. And that's congratulations. And how did it all come about?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that, Coach. Well, it started off with our players and our parents. They have a voice. And when we recruit them, we talk about the platform. We talk about the stage that Ohio State offers. And we believe that in recruiting. And, their voice matters. And, to see the families come together, to see the players come together, the leaders come together, and just talk about how, they believe that they deserve an opportunity to play safely. Now, not one of them said they want to go out there and put their kids at risk, but they just want an opportunity to play safely. And so just the way that everybody came together was unbelievable, everybody involved. And I'm just really, really proud of our players.
Coach, you just mentioned your quarterback, Justin Fields, and I was so impressed. He became such a great leader off the field this whole offseason. But on the field, we know he's a heck of a football player. I'm just curious to ask you, what are some of the areas that you think he can get better at quarterback this year?
Well, there's a lot of things we talked about after the year. And first thing, it was leadership. And I would give him an A+. What he's done this offseason, first off, setting a standard, but then just the relationships he's continued to build on both sides of the ball, the way he's spoken up nationally, the way he's handled his business. During this time, this is a guy who's a top, I think he's the best player in the country, but he's a top, couple pick in the draft. He could have packed his bags and left. He never wavered once. He never even thought about leaving. He looked me in the eye and said, Coach, the NFL will come one day. I want to win a national championship with this team, and I want to win a Heisman Trophy. And that was it. We didn't have another conversation. So just the mindset of a young man at that age who has such a bright future ahead of him, to have that approach is just really, really impressive.
Coach, you talked about players packing their bags. Well, you had a couple of guys opt out, Wyatt Davis and Shaun Wade. Any chance they would potentially come back?
Yeah, so right now those guys are both, Wyatt was at practice Friday and Shaun's coming back on campus. So, they've said from the beginning they wanted to play. There's a reason why they came back and they didn't declare last year. Once it was announced that, it wasn't going to be revisited, they made a hard decision. And now that it has been changed, they're back, and they didn't even flinch. I mean, it was like within 24 hours, they called me up and said, Coach, we want to play. So we just got to, make sure we fill up some paperwork on this, but they absolutely deserve the chance to play, and I believe they will.
I don't need to tell you how high the expectations are every year in Columbus for your program. But knowing you have a shortened schedule compared to what the Big Ten, the ACC, and the SEC are going to deal with, how do you need to approach every game, every week, with no buys to get your program back into the playoffs?
Well, I think it is like we always do. I mean, we approach every game the same way week in and week out. And it's really – this year is going to be strange. We knew that. From the get-go. It wasn't going to be a normal season. And I think there's going to be a lot of games that are postponed, throughout the fall. So who knows how many games each team is going to play. We can't worry about that. It's what Coach Meyer just said, E plus R equals O. We can't really control the events of any of that. What we can control is the response. When we get an opportunity to go play, we're going to play as hard as we can, as physical as we can, and be as tough as we can.
Coach Day, thanks for the time. Cannot wait for game one and can't wait to see you run onto the field in late October.
Yeah, me either. Thanks so much, guys.
Big Noon Kickoff, Saturdays at 11 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app.